What's up, everyone? Welcome to day 2 of the Texas Crit Championships. This is the Pro 1-2-3, but it's actually not a championship race, so that meant some of the big teams from day 1 were not there. Basically, it was Torchy's Tacos who had the big team, and then also Eli and Lucas, who are both pro riders and working together. Those were kind of the guys to watch out for in this one. But it was my second race of the day, so I was a little bit tired, but still went pretty well. Here we are jumping right into it. There's a group already up the road and the field was kind of splitting. So I'm kind of moving up, and then Eli and Lucas jump and attack right here. So I go with them. I knew if I could kind of mark them and try and get a break with them, that'd be my best chance of doing well. So they're trying to bridge up to the group that's already out there. I'm on this guy's wheel. He sits up. So now I'm left to close this big gap. 500 plus watts. This is a big effort. Also pretty early in the race, only lap 4, coming up on lap 5 now. But they've certainly got a gap. The two of them are working together. There you can see the group that's up the road. It's pretty big, so I know I need to get up there quick. Otherwise it could be bad. Here Lucas goes off the road onto the sidewalk, which kind of was a bit lucky for me because he had to slow up. And I would have been able to get on his wheel, and now he can kind of drag me back up to this group because he needs to get there too. So that was kind of my saving grace there, that he misjudged that corner and I was able to get on his wheel. Here another big effort up the hill, 450 watts, so which was certainly a big effort to be earlier in the race. But here we made the first big move and first break. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting close. You can see there Eli waits up for Lucas to make sure Lucas can make it. They were certainly working together, even though they're technically on 2 pro teams, but I think they kind of train and do a lot of stuff together. So coming up on the back of the group here, this is the long brick section. This course again was reversed from day 1, but was the same as the junior earlier in the day. But this is fast through here, 30 miles an hour on the bricks, so it's on. Being able to sit in the draft though, not having to do too many watts, nice and arrow, and saving a lot of energy by just sitting on his wheel for kind of that rest of the lap to make it on. But we make it on here. You can see we have clear daylight from the field, but unfortunately this group was kind of too big. You can see there's 10 plus guys and people were just sitting on. So Lucas and Eli attack again. I don't immediately follow. There's a lot of other guys, so I let them jump on. I let this guy slide in and then get on his wheel. But there were just too many guys in this one. It didn't end up working. People were sitting on and we kind of sat up and the field ended up catching us. So this one ended up not working, but that's how it goes sometimes. So fast forward 17 minutes in, we're all back together, and there go Lucas and Eli again. And this time they jumped from behind where I happened to be, and I couldn't get on them or didn't go with them immediately. So now they've got me, but I know I still need to go. They're by far the 2 strongest in the race. So I try and jump, get gapped off a little bit. Not ideal, you're in the wind here. Able to kind of get back on through this corner, get on Joe Emmons, the Matrix, Torchy's Taco guy right here. Lucas and Eli already have a good gap on us, and there might even be people further up the road already. So this is going to be a big gap to close, but I'm just trying to sit on them. Hope they can bring it back right now, not do too much work. Again, pretty fast through here, 30 miles an hour. But you can see these guys are starting to sit up. So that's not good. You don't want Lucas and Eli to get out because they will stick it, and then we will be left in the field hunting for minor positions. So that's not good. People jump again. Everyone knows it's kind of a mad scramble they got there. They all want to follow Lucas and Eli, so field's starting to break up. Into this corner, there's a little lip here. I have to kind of bunny hop that and miss the curb on the outside. Another big effort up the slight little rise. I can tell this guy in front of me is struggling. I need to get around him quick. I think right here, yep. I come around him. These 2 are going hard. I've got a gap to close now just to get to them, much less to the front of the race. So I have to be full gas out of this corner, back onto the bricks. Now you can see there's no one behind me, so I have to catch up to this guy, these guys, or there's going to be no one to work with. Here, the Williams guy, Connor, he pulls over and sits up. So now I've got a bigger gap to close, and at this point I don't think I can close it. 400 watts on the bricks, almost 30 miles an hour. It's looking like a big gap to close solo. No one behind me. I know I gotta catch up to these guys in front, otherwise I will miss the move and have no chance. Another rider sitting up there on the right. People are just blowing up left and right trying to get up here. There goes someone else. So come through this corner and look at that gap. That is not looking good for me being solo, but I know I at least have to try. And if I blow up, I blow up. So 400 watts, 31 miles an hour, just max effort right here, trying to get up to them as quick as possible. You can see two of them have gone, and the cadence guy has kind of been gapped off from them. And coming out of this corner, he starts to sit up. So I'm thinking that's good for me. Maybe we can work together and then get up there with the two of us. But I'm coming up to him right now. We're kind of on the slight uphill bricks. He seems to still have some energy, kind of sprinting out of the corner, so that's looking good. I just got to get up to his wheel. Bunny hop that little lip there. It's always a little bit tricky. You don't want to hit that wrong and then lose a wheel and go down. But here goes another rider blown up. I'm still not on the cadence guy. Coming up to will be a lap on the front, just chasing, so starting to become a longer effort, not just a quick 20-second sprint and you're there. Here I catch the cadence rider. I'm pretty much gassed. Heart rate is high 190s, so I sit on him for a bit, hoping he starts to take a hard pull. He gets back on the gas when I catch him, so that's good for me. Two of us are working together on this brick section. Still doing 300 plus watts in his wheel, so we're going pretty good. Here he comes over in the gutter, just a little bit smoother. Don't get the roughness of the bricks and kind of maintain more speed. So a lot of people were doing that during the race. Might have been helpful, might have been not, with having to move over on the road. I don't know, but that's what they were doing. Here now I'm pulling through. I know the two of us have to work together. Try and catch the break up the road. By now Lucas and Eli have made it. You can kind of see them there up in the distance, coming up towards the corner. I don't know how many there is, maybe 6 or 7 right now. Yeah, there they are making the corner. That pull wasn't the longest. I was gassed at this point. I've been chasing for a while and it was my second race, so I was just doing everything I could to pull through and try and make it up. Cadence guy's taking another solid pull here. It's pretty fast for this section. I got lucky that he was still had something in the legs. It seemed like he had kind of blown up, but he knew he needed to make it, so he kept going with me, and the two of us were just working together, trying to get there. Back up the hill here, he's out of the saddle. I'm probably the same, but GoPro stabilization means you can't really tell. It's really good, in case you couldn't notice. But here he's going again. He's taking a long pull, which is good for me. You can see we're making inroads on the brake. There they are around the corner. We're coming through this corner. They're getting ready to turn onto the long brake section. So gap is certainly a lot closer now. It's only like 4 or 5 seconds, so that's good. I know I can kind of try and do this last leg to get up there. I'm coming, but they string it out again right as we're getting close, so I'm all out trying to get there, but unfortunately they didn't set up. That would have been nice. Could have caught them by now, but they've strung out. You can see they're attacking. Guys are kind of all over. Some guys are getting dropped off the back. Here, I think that's Patrick. Yeah, that's him. He blows up. I come around him. Still in the front here, trying to close down this gap. Back into the start-finish straight. We're 23 minutes in, so not quite halfway, but we're getting close. This is a point where a lot of breaks could get established, and it's looking likely we have a big gap to the field behind. And I finally start to make it up here, so that was a big effort. I didn't think I was going to make it across, but luckily I did. Once I made it, we had maybe 6 of us. We were rotating, not perfect. There were 2 more guys further up the road that we caught, but we were able to hold our gap. Lucas actually had a mechanical partway in, and he had a DNF, but with 5 laps to go, here we are. Eli attacks. we had been cat and mousing, and this was the first real attack. You can see only 20 miles an hour. So I don't respond immediately. There's 2 Torchy's Tacos guys in this group, so everyone's kind of thinking it's their job. That's why there was no immediate response. But I'm blown at this point. 5 laps to go. I've basically emptied myself. I was still doing all my turns. There were some people who were kind of sitting on a bit, but I pretty much pulled through the whole time that I was supposed to, so I was pretty tired by this point, just kind of hanging on by now. Eli still has a good gap. The Torchy's guys are on the front, but they're not really making any massive inroads, just kind of keeping it steady right now. You can see one of them's pulled off. This guy sat up to not take a pole. He was kind of sitting on some, so you can see now we're rotating. We know we need to catch Eli. Don't want to let him solo to the win and have us fighting for second. We want to, of course, everyone wants to win themselves, so we start rotating through. Luke pulls off. Now the Cadence guy, who I think I bridged up with, he's taking his pull. It was pretty short, but now I'm pulling. You can see Eli has a solid gap. He's got almost one of these short straightaways, so it's tough to bring him back at this point. I take another pretty short pull. I'm just trying to do everything I can, but it's not much right now. Watts are not super high, but it was very painful, so I have to kind of jump on this wheel, do a bit more of an effort to get back on than I would have liked. A bit of energy, and you're still in the wheels, so that's not ideal, but they were kind of putting it on right as I happen to be getting back on. You can see people are getting gapped as they pull off, so we're going hard through here. Gap to Eli is coming down a little bit, but we're still going to chase hard. Inside 4 laps to go now, I think, so getting close to the end. Certainly a late race flyer that definitely could work. There goes Luke taking his pole. Don't want to sit up here. Once we sit up and completely lose cooperation, that's where everything goes wrong and he stays away. So need to make sure make sure someone's always on the gas. Don't want to sit up. Now I pull through, going pretty hard, 400 watts, but when you're pulling through like this, you also want to make sure you're being nice and narrow. That way you go the fastest for the least possible wattage produced, which, being a smaller guy, is typically pretty good for me. Still a bit of draft off that guy as I sit up, but now Luke and the Torchy's guy kind of gone off. Someone let the wheel go, not wanting to pull through. I'm left to close it. Not ideal again, but I don't want to let the entire podium slip away, so I close it down. A bit more energy that I maybe could have not wasted, but it kind of is what it is. Let's see. So Eli's still up the road at this point, I think. Yeah, so one guy's bridged up to him. Now he has the other on the left there. So there's 2 of them now. And that makes it even more likely for them to stay away. Someone crossed the gap through that last section. So Luke's pulling again. I'm kind of sitting on his wheel. Maybe could have been a little tighter there, more efficient, but is what it is. I don't want to pull through here. I'm super tired. I just closed that gap too, so now some more riders go. I'll tell Luke to get in, and then I'm on the back here. Don't want to lose the wheel. Big effort. If you lose the wheel here and get gapped, you're pretty much done, so I gotta make sure I close down this little, it's only 10 feet, but once you start losing the draft, it can be tough. I make it back on through here though, riding in the gutter again. A little bit smoother, probably faster. I don't know. I think it is. That's why we were doing it. You can see Eli and the other rider have a bigger gap now than they had previously. It's a big end of 5-6 seconds maybe. I think we're coming up to 2 laps to go. I think 3 laps to go, so I guess we're at 27 of 30 right now. So through the start finish, kind of sitting up again here. Not ideal. Not a complete sit up though, so it's okay. But there's Eli and the other rider going through that corner. There we are, back onto the bricks. Bit of water there, had to be careful. There were a couple laps through there, I lost the back wheel and kind of fishtailed a bit, but it's okay. Here goes another Torchies. There are still 2 of them in the group back here. So they were really the ones who had to do the chasing, not us. You know, with them being the only team with multiple guys, they're kind of obligated to do the chasing. Big effort here to close the gap, 600 watt sprint. So that's also pretty big up this hill, but don't want to get gapped off. That's the worst thing once you lose a draft. You have no chance. So we're closing the gap now to Eli, and I think a Cadence guy might have bridged up, I think. So we're closing the gap to them. You know, it's down to 1-2 seconds. Yeah, we pretty much caught them back here. They sit up and we're back to cat and mousing. So I'll skip forward one more lap here. We're a lap and a bit to go. Joe Emmons, I think it might have been someone else. The Torchies guy attacked. We're having to respond now. This is a pretty late race. The Cadence guy sits up. I'm going to have to close this gap. I could sit up 2 here, but I don't want to get gapped off the back by someone sprinting around me, so I'm closing the gap. There's a bit of a gap behind too. You can see what happens when you sit up. So this is really fast through here, 32. Not bad, but I closed the gap to them kind of the same time. Eli closed the gap to me. So now we're all back together inside the last lap. We're kind of coming up the hill here. I know I'm not going to win the sprint, and I need to attack if I want to win, but I also don't have the legs to attack. I was absolutely dying by this point. Just closing that gap was everything I had. So we're complete sit up here. 18 miles an hour, 17, doing 100 watts. So we're certainly playing the game a little bit, all looking at each other. Not sure what to do there on the left. Luke puts in a big dig. Eli responds. The Cadence guy goes. And I try and go here. 600 watt sprint. The one guy falls off, but I get gapped off a little bit. I think that's Gabe right there, Porterfield. He gets gapped off a bit. I'm just trying to stay on the wheel as best I can, but Gabe ends up, he gets gapped off. I couldn't close it. I was too dead. So I sit on him for a little bit. Luke, who is the Williams guy who attacked, he ended up staying away for the win, which was absolutely crazy out of Eli. I thought Eli would for sure win, so Luke went 3 out of 3 and he had a really good race, but here I am pulling through. I was absolutely gassed at this point. I just roll in. Gabe sprints, and I couldn't even sprint coming up here. You'll see I'm on the front just doing 200 watts. I'm blown. Nothing left in the tank. Come around the corner here. This is the final stretch. Can't wait to see the sprint up ahead. Gabe comes around me. I have nothing. I just sit up. Couldn't do any sort of sprint. So I finished 6th, which was actually a really good race for me. I was happy that I was able to bridge the gap to the break. That was a really hard effort. So just to be there is good. And if you enjoyed this, thanks for watching. Bye.